We are here live with Style and Beauty Expert Denise Caldwell, and we're so honored and excited to have you on.
Hey,
Thank you so much for joining us.
no, thanks for having me. Happy Memorial Day.
Happy Memorial Day to everybody who's tuning in, and thank you for joining us on this Memorial Day weekend. So
Yes.
let's hop straight into this interview.
Okay.
So tell us how you got into fashion and what drew you to the beauty industry.
Okay. Well, I've been working in the fashion and beauty industry for over 10 years. And honestly, I'm a girl from the Midwest. I'm from St. Louis, Missouri. So all my St. Louis people out there, hey y'all.
Okay.
Um, and I went to college at Howard University, and I studied chemistry.
Okay.
Yep. And so I wanted to be a forensics pathologist. I wanted to go to med school, but I always loved fashion because in St. Louis, I grew up going to visual and performing arts school. So dance was one of my first loves. You could tell me that I wasn't going to be the next Debbie Allen. Um, and so when I got to Howard, I was doing chemistry, everything was going really well. And then I just kind of had this epiphany, like, I was so in tune with the campus. I was so involved that I kind of was just like, you know what? I think I want to tap into my visual and performing arts side. So I quickly had to figure that out because by that time I was already fulfilling like the end of my sophomore year credits because not only did I study chemistry, but I had become a member of the American Chemical Society due to all my credits. So I really was excelling in that, but I still just had a passion for fashion, the entertainment industry, anything that was going on with our Howard homecoming. I was helping coordinate things. You know, I was doing a lot of student government stuff. It just was like I was really infused. When you talk about the Howard experience, for those that know me, know that I had a huge Howard experience. So I decided I wanted to change my major, and I was trying to figure out the best way to do that. So I ended up doing journalism with a concentration in PR. And because chemistry, our minor was math, I switched over to finance so that I could kind of keep with the numbers and things. But after that, my grandmother was like, hey, girl, okay, you're not going to be a doctor. What are you going to do to make money? And me and my cousin had this huge pact where we were like, he's going to go and be an attorney, which he is an amazing attorney in Nashville. And I was going to be a doctor. So I kind of had to figure that out. So I started taking a lot of internships. And so there is a trade newspaper called Women's Wear Daily that is huge. And it's basically like the fashion Bible because it gives you daily news, insight on the trends, the textiles and everything. I got an internship with the DC office with that. And that was kind of my set way into fashion. And then after that, 17 magazine had come on the campus and they were doing the most fashionable college campuses. So I ended up being their lead to give them the tour of the university and kind of like have them around. I know all of this stuff kind of just happened. I tell you, actually, like when I put it out there in the universe, I was like, okay, this is what I want to do. All these like amazing opportunities started coming my way. So that was really kind of my set way into it. And then fast forward, I got an internship at Essence Magazine, which was amazing because at the time they only took juniors, but I was a sophomore and they took me.
Wow.
Yeah, and I don't know if it's because I had like said, oh, I'm from St. Louis, and someone that was in the PR department was from St. Louis, and she was just like, this girl has gumption. She was like, give her the internship. So I did that, and that really was my taste of New York. And I always said I wanted to live in New York, but I just didn't know what career I was going to have there. So it all came together. And after that, I had an internship with Fern Malice, who is the mother of New York Fashion Week when you talk about Bryant Park. And that led me to an internship at Harper's Bazaar, which then led me to one of my first fashion jobs, as a second assistant on a shoot with Karl Lagerfeld. So all of these things just started kind of happening for me. And then I ended up working with some amazing fashion editors and stylists where I was just really able to, a young girl from St. Louis, Missouri, bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, eager to work, being to have all these experiences from working with the fashion teams from, Sarah Jessica Parker to Jennifer Lopez, our former First Lady, Mrs. Obama, Beyonce, Kendall and Kylie Jenner, so many amazing people, and then supermodels like, Tyra Banks,
Yes.
Iman, Carolina Karkova, Joan Smalls, Hillary Rhoda, and then massive brands and fashion designers from the late Oscar de la Renta to Vera Wang, to Naeem Khan, who I would had the pleasure of working with for 14 seasons with a lot of his collections. So it really just gave me a lot of experience behind the scenes. And I was really blessed to always work with amazing stylists and editors that kind of groomed me, to be the little fashionista that I am today.
Yes. Yes, that's a beautiful, beautiful story of how you kind of blossom and transform from this, going down this one path of being a doctor, now being, like you said, the fashionista that you are today, the superwoman in a style.
Exactly. And it really just, was kind of like, I don't think we think of it when we're young, like when we say, now I know, it was my faith that brought me there, but really it was more so just like, I was optimistic about it. I really wanted it. And I just knew I had to hustle to get it. And, now I know it was faith. It was God even more that was guiding me. And I just was putting out that positive energy to say, okay, I really want this internship. Okay. I really want to go to Paris for couture, but I don't have a passport yet. And so I got to get a passport, and, all these opportunities and amazing things started coming to me. But it was definitely a lot of hard work, a lot of elbow grease, many, many tears, a lot of prayer, and sweat.
Yes. And all those things coming together. So, how did your desire to share how important is confidence and self-care for women, how did that begin?
So a few years ago, I was working with a stylist, and I decided, we parted ways. And so it was kind of like I could either, she had put in a couple of calls to say, hey, Denise is a free agent now. She's going to be available. And, we just kind of like, we're trying to figure out what would be my next steps. And then I just kind of decided personally what I wanted my next steps to be. And I had met so many amazing people from the television world and also in the fashion world. So I decided that I wanted my brand to be a little bit more commercial. So that's how I started doing a lot of television, where I contribute to the Dr. Oz show. I am his curvinista. He calls me. I come running. We do makeovers. We do inspiration. We do empowerment segments. We do a lot of denim segments to talk about your body type. Also, the Today Show, I have been blessed to be featured, consistently on there, which is a great feat for me in my career. And then also I've done the Hallmark Channel, and I do a lot of the local Fox affiliates. So, hey, y'all in DC, I do ABC 7, Fox 45 in Baltimore, and then in Philadelphia, I do a lot of stuff, and in LA. So I'm known as that look good, feel confident expert. And so that's always been a part of my life. My mother, my grandmother, all my aunties, my uncles, people that are part of the LGBTQ community that are in my family that, showed me how to be a lady, how to be feminine, how to be a woman, how to be responsible, how to be a role model. And so I wanted to infuse all that into my brand in my daily life. And so that's how I created this Dress with Confidence thing. So it's really important for me when we talk about women. We're the givers of life. We're the channel that God uses to birth all things fabulous. I like to say. So I think that that's just really important, because if you can't pour from an empty cup, so when you're thinking about how you look good, how you feel good, it really radiates, and you're able to go out in the world and do good. You're able to help in your community. You're able to, be a better caregiver. You're able to be a better mom, a better wife, a better girlfriend, a better teacher, a better usher in the church. It's just different things when you really have that rhythm of walking, kind of, I like to say, and you keep your head held high. A lot of this stuff is innate, but it's also things that adds on to it. If you wear a bright lipstick, if your hair feels a certain way, if you have your favorite nail polish on, or you're wearing a bright color. So those are just little tips that I like to throw out there, even though I'm always talking about fashion and beauty. It's something that is really personal, but it's little things that you can pick up on and you don't even notice it, but you're like, yeah, I do feel better when I do that.
Yeah.
Oh, if I have my mascara on, if my brows are done, nothing else is done, I feel amazing,
Yeah.
And who doesn't love a compliment? If you know you feel good and you look good, but somebody say, "Girl, you look good,
Yeah.
girl,"
Thank you.
it just kind of makes you feel better, and then you smile. I was talking about that today on my Instagram post. Like, if you smile and kind of pivot your thought process, you can imagine all the things that kind of just change for your day. So self-confidence is something that's huge for me, and I really am an advocate for that in any way possible.
Yes, and Royce Jean Caldwell says that they agree with you.
That's my mama.
Yes, she's on the line with Wendy. Hello. And welcome to the Black Motivation Podcast. So, kind of piggybacking on what you've been saying about self-confidence and style, what are some style tips for when we do get out from under quarantine for women who are interviewing and maybe have lost a job or are looking to pivot in their careers?
Absolutely. So I always say the first thing, ladies, it doesn't cost a lot to look amazing. Let's just get that out there. We see now that a lot of retailers are going to have some sales, so don't fret. I've been starting to slowly but surely do fashion segments from my home, my little fashion closet here, and the stores are ready for you guys, and they have different safety measures that they put in place. So that's going to be something really fun to kind of shop, especially if you're a shopper. Now, if you're not a shopper, my grandmother wasn't a shopper, but she loved quality stuff, but she just wasn't a shopper. But my mom, oh, she can't wait till TJ Maxx doors open, child. She's just ready. So there's going to be some sales. So these are the things that you should look for your wardrobe. First, shop your closet. And what I mean by that is, and I just have to say, Ashley, you look amazing. You're on your weight loss journey, a better health, a better you. Nothing was wrong with the old you, but you want to transform. Yeah. So you're being upgraded in your life. And I think that's amazing. So shop your closet, ladies. If you have lost the quarantine 15 or you gained the quarantine 15, yeah, it don't matter. No. Shop your closet, see what you have. And then look in your underwear drawer. Everything, a fabulous outfit always starts with what's underneath. So having that proper bra that's going to make the girl sit up and be perky and say hello, that's really good. It makes you look polished when you have the proper undergarments underneath. And you don't have to necessarily have like suited and booted shapewear, but something that really sits your posture up straight. So, if it's a high brief, that's something that kind of holds you in a little bit. I love a combination of cotton, lycra, and spandex with my undergarments. That's because it's breathable, but it also kind of gives you a nice smooth silhouette. So if you have that, then that's a great thing because you're walking in already confident underneath your outfit. And then, there's nothing wrong with having a black or a navy or like a chocolate brown kind of taupe suiting. And that way, if you have that suiting pairing, I love a skirt, but that's because I'm a feminine woman and I love dresses and skirts. But if that's not your thing, that's fine. Go with more like a slender pant, or if you're a little bit taller, you can do an amazing trouser because that's a trend that was on the runway. But do a pop of color with your blouse. We're going into warmer temperatures, so you can definitely indulge in like blues, all types of blues, from your cobalt to your powder blue, to your periwinkle. Experiment with that. Lavender is like a color of royalty. Any form of purple is a color of royalty, and that's a good conversation piece because it doesn't matter how you're looking up top. If you have a great, nice necklace and a great pop of color, that's a conversation starter. And color is also something it's ageless, it's sexy, it's youthful, and it's really vibrant. It can be a mood booster. So think about definitely infusing some type of color. And if you're like, okay, I work in the corporate world, you can definitely still infuse color, but just keep it with a solid and then match it with your favorite suiting pairing. And with the heel, ladies, I always say the higher the heel, the closer to God. Yes. But I understand that in the corporate world, so if you can at least do a 2.5 inch to 3 inches of a heel, it will elongate you more. I'm an advocate for looking longer and leaner in your clothing. Who doesn't want that? Yes. And so when you have a heel that's between 2.5 inches and 3, that will kind of give you a little amp up on your height, but it also will give you great posture. Because I know a lot of people don't have great posture, and there's nothing wrong with that because we sit at a computer all day.
Right.
But that will really help with your posture and also with your confidence too. And a nice tote bag. Again, with the sales, there's going to be so many great sales. So if you can get a nice leather or faux leather, because I know a lot of people who are good with the environment and with animal activism and stuff. So a nice leather or faux leather bag, in a solid black, a navy, or like a nice camel color that is really chic and polished. It makes you look rich and you look like money, so you can definitely get the job.
Yes, thank you for those tips. And so, with May being Mental Health Awareness Month, what advice do you have to give to women during this quarantine season who may be feeling like down and discouraged?
First off, I just want to tell everybody I'm a person that believes in faith over fear. I am a Christian. I believe in God. And so I know that there is someone that is working this whole thing out for us. So don't fear. And if you feel like you're getting in that moment, pull out a book that has your favorite affirmations, or pull up something on Instagram. Social media has some bad downsides, but they also have some great upsides. And I like to say, when I'm feeling a little down, I just go to Facebook and my church, shout out to the Temple of Restoration in Brooklyn. They are so active online that there's always somebody giving a word of encouragement or typing a word of encouragement. They even have a phone line. So, those type of things I feel like uplift the spirits, and it instantly changes your mood around. And you can only but help smile with that. I also feel like a nice bubble bath. We were quarantined, ladies, so you had to clean that bathroom sooner or later. And, I sometimes indulge in a housekeeper. So I didn't have a housekeeper, honey. So I was scrubbing that bathroom. And one of my perks is that I treated myself to, a glass of champagne and got in that tub, lit some candles, and played some music and just relax for a second. There are some perks and benefits to this. I feel like everyone constantly is moving and moving and moving. This was a time to just kind of be still. And also do some great breathing exercises. You can find on YouTube and again on social media where there are a lot of people that are acupuncturists by trade, or they do cupping. There's this amazing thing with cupping now, but they have different cuppings. I ordered some from this brand called Lure Essentials, and they had different cuppings you can use for your face, your back, your cellulite. And it's really soothing, but it also drains all that stuff from your lymphatic, areas and stuff. So it kind of really soothes you. Great music, and just really tapping into your inner self, doing all those things that you said you were going to do. I'm a Virgo, so I make lists all the time.
Yes.
Uh-oh.
Yes. Fellow
so, when you're making those lists, you're like, okay, it's nothing like checking stuff off. So if you can kind of just make a daily list, and it's kind of like your guide of peace, passion, and perspective, and kind of make a row of each of those. What's a passion? What gives you peace? What gives you perspective? And kind of align it with those three things. You'll realize you have more than enough to do. And also it's stuff that just really soothes you. And it's about you. Because ladies, again, like I said earlier, you can't pour from an empty cup. So, whether you're single, whether you're dating, whether it's complicated, whether you're married or you're a single mom, you want to be your best self. And this is a great time to do that. So definitely get that mindset of faith over fear. And that's kind of how I've been getting by. As well. And some good food.
Yeah, good food too. So you talked a little bit about this earlier, about family and some of the people that are important to you. Who are some of your heroes and your sheroes?
Well, one of them already complimented. Hi, Mom. So my mom is definitely one of my heroes. She's just an amazing person. She's an educator. We're quarantined together here in New York. And I wouldn't have it any other way. We have our spats just like anybody else, but we had a good bear hug today, and it just felt good because it's like, can't hug everybody, but you can hug who you're in the house with,
Yeah.
And so she's just an amazing woman, and I was raised predominantly by her all through my life, single parent household, and she really just is an amazing woman. Also, my grandmother, who taught me a lot about strong work ethic as well. She drove taxi for 42 years in St. Louis. And she really just showed me the power of, working hard, and being a go-getter and being tough. She's a little short woman and she speaks her mind, and so I love that. And then, at my church, our first lady, Pastor Elizabeth Barbosa, she's an amazing person. And I just love her. She's a mom, she's a wife, she's a first lady, but she's also a pastor. She's a fiery spirit. She always has a great word for you, and she's just really welcoming. I also have another lady. Her name is Miss Rose. I call her my church mom. She's very soft-spoken. She's very soft-spoken, and she's very much so ladylike. And you just, if you want a good hug, or you want to feel great, or you're just looking for some wisdom and discernment, and you're trying to use your self-wisdom and your discernment, I always love when I can go to women of the church and ask them what they think as well about certain things, because those type of women will not steer you wrong in that aspect. And then there's some great people that are my friends that I just love. My friend Tiffany, who is a mayor in a small municipal in St. Louis. She is hardworking, she's selfless, and those are just great qualities that I think that not only women should have, but people. She's a great supporter of mine and always has been, and I just love that. And then when we talk about celebrities, we have to talk about Mrs. Obama, who is just the ultimate role model. I know a lot of times celebrities will say, I don't want to be a role model. And, for people that may be watching or watch the replay, there's nothing wrong with being a role model. I mean, I love when people say, oh, I watched you and it really inspired me to do this. I saw this and it gave me inspiration to do that. Or, Denise, what made you think of that? Girl, that was amazing. There's nothing wrong with having those compliments, because it shows that you're doing something right, and we all in this world could use something right. And so I just really like that. And I love that I have become a role model from watching all my favorite aunties, from my mom and my grandmother and, people at my church. And then also looking at some celebrities that I feel like are, amazing person that you can get, sponge aspect from, that you can soak and absorb some great things from. And then also some people that haven't done things right, but you're able to learn from it. And I always say, you don't have to touch the pot to know it's hot. You saw that the steam was coming out and you said, okay, case in point, I learned. So I've used that personally and professionally throughout my life, and it's been amazing for me.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, speaking of Michelle Obama, you did style her. So tell me, what are 3 of your favorite moments from your career as a stylist, celebrity stylist, and fashion expert?
Okay, so just a quick clarification. So with me, with Miss Obama, I didn't style her. I was a part of a team that worked with her. So a lot of times in fashion, I know when people say like big names and stuff, I always like to be clear with anything and be transparent and authentic. That's really helped, my career and my reputation stay there. But a lot of times I was just really blessed to be a part of teams that worked with their teams. She has an amazing stylist, Meredith Coop, who's a Midwesterner as well. And I was just able to work with her team. So that was really, really a great moment. And I've always, been able to work with so many teams like Halle Berry's stylist, so many just amazing people where you're like, you really get to work with them, and then you're working with them, you're meeting with them, and all those things like that, which has upgraded my career. And then you realize they're regular women just like everybody else, which is amazing. Because I know sometimes people say celebrities are, a hierarchy thing, but they are real women just like us. They just happen to have an amazing career in a different area.
Yes. Awesome. And so we're getting to our last couple of questions. So tell us about the work that you've done and are currently doing in the community.
So for me, first, I'll say the top 3 fashion people that I have loved working with. I will say that though, the highlights of my career. Sarah Jessica Parker was amazing. I got to run on the Brooklyn Bridge with her and also shoot with Peter Lindbergh, who's no longer with us. And she was wearing Chanel Haute Couture, and I got to work with her for over a 3-day span, back to back. And then we also did a fitting, and, you know, she's very nice and kind and gracious, and she loves a great bra. She knows the power of great underpinnings, and she knows fashion and her angles. Of course, Mrs. Obama, because we got to go to the White House, and I got to meet Bo, the dog, and it was just a really, really great time. I got to be the head stylist assistant, where I got to pick all the other assistants that worked with us on the team. Because at that point I was beginning to be more senior in my career. And then my third one, I would say, there's been so many, but Kendall and Kylie Jenner, when they were younger, I worked with them with 17, and I knew that Kendall had the it factor to be a model. And I saw the hunger and the businesswoman savviness in Kylie, and just to see them now where they are in their career, like them, don't like them, those young girls have worked really, really hard, and they know their talents, and they work them really well, as far as in the fashion and the beauty arena, with everything. But so those will be kind of like my top 3. I could kind of switch them around, but those are definitely ones that come to mind where I'm like, she did that.
Awesome.
But in the community, that sets way. I love ending with the Kendall and Kylie thing, because in the community, I love working with young girls. You know, I feel like not only are children our future, but right now, young girls have so many avenues where they could go left or right, and they are looking for an outlet. They may have great parents, they may not have great parents, but there's a lot of things on social media, there's a lot of things on television, there's a lot of things in their neighborhood that may not be as positive. And I just love being that voice of reason that comes to them and says, hey, you can still go to school, is still amazing and cool. Getting your degree is still amazing and cool. You know, not wearing all that caked up makeup, you know, finding your inner beauty, whether, you know, you're plus size or you're petite and skinny, you know, and, you know, those things, you're still a beautiful person, because sometimes people have low self-esteem because of their body, you know, whether they're plus size and curvy or they're on the really small side. You know, we have to think, you know, a lot of times people throw things at you because you don't look a certain way, and our young girls feel the brunt of that even more. So I actually had a confidence camp that I was going to start in Baltimore, and it was going to be in April. But then the pandemic happened. As I mentioned earlier, Baltimore is one of my, it's like a second home to me. For the last like 5 years, I have been going back and forth to Baltimore for television appearances, in-store appearances, and different things. So I have a following there. And I always like to go and pitch my tent where I am visible a lot, you know, because sometimes you'll see people that are on TV, and, you know, people may deem them as a community celebrity or, you know, a local celebrity. I don't think myself that way. But then I know some people say, oh, I saw you on TV this morning, and that's such a cool job. And I just like to be in the places where I am visible. I do live in New York, you know, but I'm also in Baltimore and Philadelphia a lot, and I love the people there. So those are the 2 places where we launched our confidence camp. And it's really like more of a glow up camp. So it really talks about self-confidence. You know, we talk about how to talk to boys. You know, we're talking about things where I was going to have some of my amazing male counterparts come in that are handsome, that are educated, that are fathers, that are husbands, and really just kind of divulge, you know, certain things when they were growing up, how they approach the girls to how they talk to women now, and how they, you know, raise their daughters and treat their wives, so that young girls can get that perspective. Because there is a lot of peer pressure. And I think it really starts, and the age for that is when you're in the 5th grade. Let's be honest, when you're about 10 years old is when it really starts to hit you. So from the ages of 10 to 13 is really where I like to communicate most with young girls. And guys, I'm not leaving them out, but I know there are a lot of, you know, organizations for young guys, and there are a lot of things that are in the growth work, but I do believe in the power of, you know, women, and women are young girls at some point. So that's something that I really love in the community. And I also just try to really donate time to help with that. And then I'm also active with my church with our women's fellowship group. We do a lot of stuff where we meet on Thursdays at the end of the month, and our first lady, has a powerful sermon for us. But I love doing fashion and beauty things with them. So we did a work seminar where I also did women and men and talked about what to wear, how to dress, and different things. But then we also did a retreat in Maryland, which was amazing, at the Cove Island Resort. I think it was called the Cove Island Resort. It had Sandy Cove. And yeah, and it was beautiful. And I got to present, 5 women from our congregation from all the different churches. So it was about 250 women there. Wow. And I made over 5 women, all different body types, all different walks of life, careers. And, we just talked about everything from underneath on top. And, we took it there and we had a really good time. So I'm an advocate for women, getting our groove back, keeping our groove, whatever is going to make us feel more confident, more beautiful, more empowered, more inspired, because that type of stuff really, if you look at the future leaders, everyone from, we talk about Mrs. Obama to Kamala Harris, to just so many people, Hillary Clinton, when we talk about so many amazing people, our AOCs, all those people, they look great, but they're doing great work. And when you see them, they feel, and you can tell that there's some confidence, there's a light in them that is helping them to go out and pursue and do more. So I think that that's something that really gives good perspective.
Yes, and thank you for that. And thank you for everything that you're doing, all the work that you're doing. It definitely aligns with our mission of helping women and investing in the personal, financial, and vocational goals of women of color. So I just want to thank you for all the work that you've done and that you'll continue to do in the future.
Yeah, thanks for having me. And I can't wait to meet you because, I'm a DC girl. So I was like, I know that everybody's practicing social distancing, right. But now more than ever, I feel like everybody's been socially connected. Yeah. So I think that that's so great. So, we're practicing social distancing. We've been socially connected. So I really can't wait to meet you in the flesh.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Because I feel like there's some great partnership and some good connection there with us to do some great work and stuff.
Yes, I'm very excited for that. Thank you. And so we are drawing, unfortunately, to the end of this episode of Monday Motivation. This has been an amazing, awesome episode. So what words would you like to leave with our viewers on this special edition of Monday Motivation?
Just stay positive. I think I had my 3 Ps, which was so funny because when I was talking about that, and I said, to take a bath and just kind of put, your passion and perspective. And what was the other P? I said, I can't even think of it right now. It was like passion, perspective, and, just kind of think about things that you want to pursue. Now more than ever, you kind of have this small break. I know a lot of cities and states are starting to open up. And I'm excited about that too, because I do feel like it's a step out on faith to just see where it goes, and I'm so grateful for all the work that our essential workers are doing, our government, everyone that's on the front line, that's doing things, but just take this time to really kind of figure out what you want to do. This is kind of a reset button for everybody. Yeah. So if it was something that you really wanted to do career-wise, go after it. Now go back to your job. If they're hiring you to come back, they're calling you to come back. I didn't say that now. Don't be a fool. Go back to your job, but now have a plan in place so that you can go forward and really pursue what you want so that you can be your best self. Now more than ever, if you can be that light, if you can have that positive energy, this is the time to do it, so that when this quarantine is over, it's go time. Like, it's not preparation time. This is preparation time now. And then now you're going to actually activate that plan and put it into action, so that it can just really be go time. So I'm just excited to see what everything's like. I know I've picked up some great things. I was telling Ashley, I'm not that tech savvy, but I've been working it out. So, thank you guys for welcoming me into your home. Ashley, thank you for having me on your show. And yeah.
Thank you. And so how can we follow you and support you on social media?
Absolutely. So I am on Instagram at Style Expert Denise. I'm on Facebook. You can add me as a friend, Denise Caldwell, or you can go to my fan page on Facebook, Style Expert Denise Caldwell. And then there's also this little thing called Google. If you just put my name in, I'll pop right up.
Yeah.
And you can reach me that way too. All the other digital channels of YouTube and things of that nature. But once this quarantine is over, you'll see me even regularly on a TV screen and a fitting room near you, because I'll be back to work.
Yes, and we are so excited for it. So thank you so much for joining us on this week's episode of Monday Motivation. It has been a treasure, a true treasure.
All right. Bye, you guys.
Mm-hmm. Yes.